Hey everyone, welcome to Ninja Monkey. Ninja Monkey. Welcome everyone to Ninja Monkey. I'm Nathan, your host for the evening, morning, depending where you're watching from. Might be Sunday, might be Monday. Let me know where you're all watching from. It's always very exciting to hear where everyone's from. For those of you who are new, I'm Nathan. I'm a Japan travel fanatic. You could say that I'm a little bit of a Japan travel otaku. I love traveling as a tourist. I travel to Japan multiple times a year, and I set up this channel, Ninja Monkey, as a way to sort of like keep track of my own personal travels, but at the same time, I love helping people out with their Japan travel. We have a great community of like-minded people in the comments. You'll probably find them in the chat. They'll be there also answering some of your questions. And I wanted to remind you that if you did have a question, you can always at Ninja Monkey, or you can just make sure that your question is nice and clear. Super chats, patrons, and members will always have priority, as it is really the way that the channel survives and helps me get back to Japan to make more content for you guys, as always. And thank you very much for being here. So let's get to it from the very beginning. I'll start reading through the chat. Let me know where you're watching from, and really cool if you're a new subscriber or a new viewer, then let me know that you're a new viewer. I always love to welcome new people to the chat and to the channel. It's always really cool. But yeah, let's get into it, right? So Bojo is in the house. Howdy, Bojo. Alex, hey. War Crab, good afternoon from Colorado, USA. Colorado, USA, cool. Hello, how are you doing there? Artorius, and so I was running just a little bit late because everything was set up for Happy Gaijin, and I started to panic, but we're here now. David, how you doing? It is Sunday. I'm back in the clay. You sent me a message. I asked you, but I'm not very sure now. Gazumi is in the house. Just got my tickets leaving next week. That was quick, dude. How long are you going to be in Japan for? I can't believe you're getting there before me. Lori, konnichiwa. Hi, everyone. Konnichiwa. Alex, hey ho. Good evening. Japan is also in the house. Logos Run. Hi. How you doing, man? Who else is here? 4K World Trip. Do we need to get an insurance for this in Japan now? All right, I'll go for the chat, and if there's a question, I will answer it. At the moment, the Japanese government has not mandated that you need travel insurance to go to Japan. However, the Japanese government currently is in discussion and sort of like debating whether or not travel insurance will be mandatory in the future for travelers. But at the moment, this is not the way it is. The reason why the government seems to be doing this or debating this at the moment is because a lot of tourists, hopefully not a lot, but some tourists apparently are leaving the country, leaving medical bills unpaid, and therefore they're looking into basically making travel insurance mandatory in the future. But at present, that's not the case. Do I recommend having travel insurance? I do. I absolutely do. I've had to go to the doctor once in the past. It was not expensive, I'm not gonna lie, but you know, I've heard horror stories of people that have broken their legs. I met somebody who broke their back. Actually, I met the daughter of somebody who basically broke her back in Japan, slipped, you know, broke her back, and her daughter had to come over from Australia to look after her. Thankfully, she had travel insurance with medical care, which is the important thing. She was hospitalized. Her daughter's trip was paid for, so she was like sort of the carer, and she had to have some rehabilitation before she could even fly back to Japan. You never know what's going to happen, and I honestly think that, you know, it could be one of these sort of things where you never use it, but I think it's one of those things where you pay and you hope you never have to use it, if that makes any sense, right? I hope that clarifies things a little bit. Very early morning. Hey. Here we go, indeed. Konnichiwa, Jesse. Hello, everyone. Tommy is also here. Orlando Potts is also here. Is it true we need travel insurance? I've just mentioned right now I've just literally just answered. The video that I put out, I think I made it quite clear that it was the government was in discussion, and I sort of gave the reasons for this. And I also mentioned that it's important that you pay your bills and that you have travel insurance, because if you're a return traveler, it seems that in the future, if you do leave the country with unpaid bills and the taxpayer in Japan ends up having to pay your bill, you might not be allowed back into the country in the future, and that will be very devastating. Health insurance is not necessary in Japan. Back in the clay, it is not mandatory to have. 4K World Trip, please, we're not going to be repeating comments. If I don't get to your comment, then you're going to have to wait. I try to go through everyone. I understand that I can't get to everyone quick enough. Japan always gets travel insurance. Hi from the UK. Hey Grant, how you doing? Konbanwa. Joseph, how you doing, Joseph? Dining in from LA. Awesome. It's been, you could see them a little bit toasty. I spent a little bit of the day in the beach yesterday and today. I'm a toasty ninja monkey today. My IC card, my C card, my credit card provides me my travel insurance cover. Always when it comes to things like travel, like credit cards or any kind of travel insurance that you have, I think that the key thing would be that you have medical insurance coverage, repatriation coverage. If anything happens to you, you can get back to your country, and then anything additional that's personal to you, you know, like things that you think are important, but most important thing will be medical. From HTX, where's HTX? How are you doing, dude? Gerardo, George, Mexico, wow. Hola, buenos días o buenas noches, espero que estés bien. Hola from Long Beach, California. Buenos días, coexists. Hello. For those of you who are always surprised to hear me speak Spanish, I am bilingual. I speak English and Spanish. How many people have asked you about the predicted July earthquake? Philly, I don't have an actual question. It's just in the back in April. Dude, I have so many questions, and that video that I put out about that earthquake prediction, every single day I get a few comments, people saying all sorts of interesting. If you want to have a little bit of fun and you want to read through the comment section of that video, I recommend it. It can be quite wacky, but I sort of love that kind of wackiness also. I'm from Mexico. Hi, I have a question. Do you know how much it costs a bus from Tokyo to Osaka, or the cheaper way to get from Tokyo to Osaka? Right, what I'm going to tell you there, George, is to look at Willa Travel. It's one of the sort of like bus services that you can get. You can type in Tokyo to Osaka. You can find the information yourself, because it does depend on the day. It does depend on the time. It depends on all sorts of things. And one of the best things that you can do if you are trying to travel on the cheap is maybe look into getting an overnight bus, a sleeper bus, which means that you'll also be saving up on accommodation. Really. There you go, Willa buses. 4,000 to 8,000 yen. It's a range. It's very difficult to you know. Hey, Blue Sky Cliff Dog, how you doing? From New Zealand. My God, it must be getting to winter now, right, in New Zealand, because it's like full on summer. It feels like right now. I'm in the process of a claim with travel insurance right now, and I got food poisoning in Bali last week. Oh dear, that's very, yeah. I read you mentioned that. Hope you're feeling better, man. Kamen, Ryder, hi, how are you doing? Where are you watching from? Though, please tell me where you're watching from, guys, if you haven't said it already. Hi all. Global health insurance the same as travel insurance? Not necessarily. You can have health insurance that doesn't cover travel. For example, travel insurance could cover medical bills, but travel insurance could also cover things like cancellations, you know, like delays and that kind of thing. So, hey, man with no life from Tokyo, dude. Tokyo, man. He's a man in Tokyo with a life. I hope travel in February 2026. George, I hope you get to travel in February 2026 too. Gerardo is in Houston, Texas. Oh, Texas. Okay, Texas. Houston, Texas. Dude, I'm European. Like, I try with all these things. St. Louis, US chicken in. Quite a few people from USA today. Like, international crowd. I love it. International crowd. Don't forget to like the video. We're here to sort of like chat Japan, have questions. That's what we're here for. You're planning a trip, you have interesting itinerary recommendations for myself or for anybody else, then this is what we're here for. Hi Monkey, hi JMC, how are you doing? Queens, New York. You see, I knew that, New York. Your Spanish is great, Nate. You're welcome to the carne asada anytime. I love carne asada. Yeah. From Denver, 1:45 p.m. is currently 9:46 p.m. here in the very south tip of Europe, where I am currently streaming from. Yes, I am not in Japan. A lot of you are shocked when you find out that I don't live in Japan, but I think that's a beauty of this channel. The beauty of this channel is that I go to Japan as a traveler, you know, so I'm constantly trying to find those, you know, travel tips as a tourist. You know, a lot of people live in Japan and they put out great content that's very valuable, but maybe the point of view can be a little bit different. I think that when you live in a place, you can sort of like lose contact with reality, if that makes any sense at times, you know. Hey George, thanks, no problem. Do you know of any YouTube videos that can help explain the transportation system in Japan? Mostly trains? Yes, JMC, I made a video. It took me 100 hours to put together. Dude, Japan, can you share my train guide, my Tokyo train guide for JMC on the chat? That video is a video that took me the longest ever. It took me 100 hours to put together, which is crazy. Never again. But I think it's a great starting point to transportation in Tokyo, and a lot of transportation around, you know, other cities around Japan will be very, very, very similar. I don't really go into Shinkansen. I do mention Shinkansen a little bit, but if you can navigate around Tokyo, Shinkansens are a breeze, I swear. Hopefully that one will help you. Spot on with Willa Bus advice, Nathan. Absolutely. I mean, you know, we think we are like-minded. We think the same. Have talked through the travel insurance details with a credit card provider, but worth revisiting again in case of any updates. Obviously, I mean, I pay for annual travel insurance. I've just paid for my annual travel insurance actually. Greetings to Aja of you from a rainy week in Mexico City. A hurricane is near. Wow. Okay. Stay safe, dude. Here in North Central Texas, you know, it's strange. One of the places I've only been to New York and New Jersey in the States, but I really want to go to Texas. I've got a feeling that, you know, I want some Texan barbecue. Places around Tokyo that are not really full of tourists, beautiful places. Yeah, Gerardo, check out, or Geraldo, I don't know how to say it, Tejas, you sound like you have a Spanish name, but check out my Ashikaga guide videos. I have, I think, 2 or 3 videos in Ashikaga. It's in Tochigi prefecture, which is the same prefecture as Nikko. A lot of people go to Nikko. You can go to Nikko, which is very beautiful, but it will be full of tourists. If you do go to Nikko, I suggest that you head for the area of the lake, which is very beautiful, and there'll be a lot of less tourists. But Ashikaga is a little bit of a hidden spot, where it's a little bit harder to get around, but it will be worth your visit. There are some incredible temples, incredible shrines. Some of the most beautiful temples that I've been to that literally have been in Ashikaga with no tourists, or very, very few tourists. Very easy to get to, worth staying overnight. You might have to do a little bit of calculation of using public transport to get to different places, but I think looking for less tourists, that is basically what you're looking for, what you need, right? So something just come up. I don't know what's come up. Hey, Kamen Rider Rogue, thank you so much for the donation. Arigatou gozaimasu. And I think, does it work? Arigato. I think it's time for a kampai and to get some liquid in my throat. I've been speaking quite a bit. Right, let's get on with more questions. Like I mentioned before, if I miss your question, I'm going through all the questions slowly, so definitely worth a watch. Thank you so much. 8:47 in London. I'm going to be in London in about 2.5 weeks. How many trips a year do you take in Japan? Okay, JMC. This year has been a record for me. I was actually calculating this, and it's been a little bit crazy. In 12 months, I went in July, so I flew in July, 1. I flew in October, 2. I flew in December, 3. I flew in February, 4. I flew in April, 5. And I'm going to do another one in 2 weeks' time, which will be like 5, 6 flights, 6 trips to Japan in 1 year, if in 12 months. That is absolutely crazy. I don't know if I'll be able to continue like doing it that way. Hello from Tennessee, going to Kanazawa in September. Oh my God, you're going to have a blast. Chris, check out my Kanazawa guys, especially the new attractions in Kanazawa video. Lula, or it'll, hi. In September, a good time to visit Sapporo, Hakodate, and what other northern Japan cities would you recommend? Thank you, dude. So Sapporo, Hakodate, absolutely recommend. From Sapporo, actually, I'm going to be going to Hokkaido in August. I'm going to be spending quite a bit of time in Hokkaido. So hopefully, because you're going to be going in September, hopefully I'll be able to give you some more information and advice after my trip. But I've been to Hokkaido in the past. I think Odate is a pretty cool city. BA and Furano are quite interesting cities or towns that are worth visit from Sapporo. And absolutely, you should consider looking at going to Noboribetsu Onsen. Very cool onsen. I am living on a rock, Gazumi. From Singapore, cool. No problem, dude. Let's see. Good morning from Hawaii, Stephen. Hi there. Hi, Chuck. How you doing? How are you doing? Other northern cities that are in Tohoku, not in Hokkaido. Absolutely, Japan Ichiban is spot on there with some of those suggestions. Sup, y'all? Your Royal Highness, how you doing? Thanks for the link. I hope you enjoy it. Leave me a comment, just say, hey, like your video sucked or I liked your video. I don't know. Just tell me the truth. There is a number of Texans in the community, so if you make it out, we should do a meetup. Absolutely, dude. Though I'm like an 8-10 hour drive from the big cities in Texas. Bloody hell. I don't think I've ever driven for more than 4 hours in a row. Do you know if the Yokohama Giant Gundam still open? No, unfortunately, George, the Yokohama Gundam was dismantled and is no longer there. It was such a cool thing, Rank, hello. I can't decide on either the 5 Lakes or Nico for a day trip. Any recommendations? All right, Rank, this is what I'm going to say. I think it depends on what your overall itinerary is. If you're going to have a lot of Kyoto and temples and shrines, then maybe give Nikko a miss, because Nikko is very much shrines, temples, and if you're going to do a lot of that in your trip, then you could probably give that a miss. So that's your answer, really. The Fuji Lakes are very, very beautiful, but also you need to be aware that it's all dependent on weather. So the way that I did it, actually, when I went, was I booked myself free cancellation overnight, and I recommend that you stay overnight if you can. I booked myself free cancellation, like I think on a Tuesday, and free cancellation on the Thursday, and I kept looking at the weather forecast, checking on the weather forecast basically, and I cancelled the one depending on the weather, because the weather is crucial when it comes to Kawaguchiko, for example. Heading to Japan soon and touring much of the country. But question about Hakone and onsens. I have a tattoo on each of my kids' names. How will they impact the ability to visit local onsens there? I think it depends on the onsen, Joseph, to be honest. It will probably have an impact if it's not too big. You can usually get yourself some plasters, even in konbinis. Even some onsens actually give them to you. If you stay in hotels, sometimes they give them to you. So a lot of people just put plasters over them to cover the thing. Um, and a lot of onsens actually do allow tattoos. So it's a matter of having that conversation, maybe doing a little bit of research in advance, checking out the onsens that you're interested in, and sending them messages to see whether or not they allow tattoos or how strict they are with tattoos. Gundam is in Osaka in the World Expo, kind of. Yeah. JMC, thank you so much for the super chat. Much appreciated, dude. Let me get some. I love the confetti. It makes me feel like I'm doing it. Arigatou gozaimasu. Arigatou gozaimasu. Do I live in Japan? Unfortunately, no. I am a tourist. I live in the Rock of Gibraltar, if anybody's ever heard of the Rock of Gibraltar. Hence my interesting British accent. I have a very unique, I think, British sort of twangy, different accent. A lot of people send me messages like, where are you from? What accent is that? You sound British, but you sound a little bit different. And now you know. Is Airbnb still legal in Tokyo? It is. I'm planning to visit Tokyo with my family of 6 for a week. Nice. I need to rent a house with at least 3 bedrooms. Well, we have there Japan YouTube, which I'm gonna let him answer in the chat if he hasn't already, because he is the king of Airbnb. Do you have a favorite hidden gem place near a bigger tourist spot, like a hidden ramen shop near Tokyo Tower? Actually, Your Royal Highness, I have a little izakaya, which is kind of modern, near Tokyo Tower. If you go back, I'll give you a little clue. If you go back into my shorts, so you're gonna have to do a little bit of digging. If you go back into my shorts, so the short where I actually leave some money there for subscribers, so it's a little bit of a rainy day fund. So if you go to that little izakaya, you can say, "Hi, I'm from Ninja Monkey." And Ninja Monkey said that there's some money that I can use to get to basically get myself a drink or whatever. Or you have a choice. You can either use the money or you can add to the money and to the envelope. And the idea is that it's a little bit like a rainy day fund. If somebody is in big need, then I could say go to this izakaya, and hopefully there's some money in the envelope for you. I'm staying in Okachimachi. Nice. Do you have any good recommendations for food as a solo traveler around there? Stroke Ueno. Well, Ueno is one of my favorite places, and Okachimachi is awesome. I don't think you're going to have any problems whatsoever because all that area is Japan is very solo friendly. Step over Mike, I recommend that you check out my travel anxieties video or solo travel videos. I've got 2 or 3 that I speak about those sort of situations. You're gonna be fine, promise. In terms of specific recommendations, maybe I should start putting some recommendations together. But at the moment I don't have, because I just wander around and find an interesting place. Hey, Tommy Tran, thank you for joining Ninja Monkey. That definitely should have a confetti moment, right? Awesome. Sapporo is fun. Enjoyed taking the train to Otaru. Nice. Sapporo is nice. I'm looking forward to going. Hey Zoom, how are you doing? Otaru in Hokkaido is also very cool. Bie and Furano, I just mentioned those exact places. Also, if you like Ryokan, there's a great one in Nobudo. That's also mentioned. We're all very like-minded. I love this. They're very scenic. I haven't been in the snow though. Do you have any recommendations for a company app or something that could help me learn the Japanese language? I want to go back in 2 years. I recommend Pimsleur. I mean, I know that people do Duolingo. I think that Duolingo is a great app for learning some vocabulary. But really, Pimsleur is a really great app for learning Japanese. Let's see. I'll be staying in Asakusabashi area. So the info you gave, thank you so much. If you visit Texas, the Big Texan Steakhouse in Amarillo is great. Yeah. I mean, I don't have any right now moments to go to Texas, but or to the States, but you never know. Hakodate is really nice, yeah. Chuck, it is. $60. Wow. Hey, how you doing, Vigil? Hi, Ninja Monkey. Where should I stay in Osaka? Do you have an Osaka guide? I have an Osaka guide, not necessarily for hotel places. Check out my Osaka top places to visit to give you an idea of a feel of the places, things to do, things to eat, sort of thing. I did it with my friend Lito. Great guy, cool friend, and I always like to stay around the Namba area if I can. Thanks. 5 lakes will be it. Cool. But remember the weather there, rank. Papago. Okay. Namba, Osaka, super well connected. I agree with you, Japan. Umeda is also quite good, actually. Back in the clay, you're absolutely right. I actually probably switch between both Namba and Umeda, and it all depends on like which one has the best offer. The 5 lakes is a big area, so plan well and keep moving if only for a day trip. I did it for an overnight stay, and I am incredibly happy that I did that, because it meant that in the morning I had no tourists from getting out at 8 in the morning, and tourists started like sort of arriving around 10 or 10:30, but before that it was very quiet. It was beautiful for the photos, for whatever. And then in the evening also the tourists sort of start disappearing around 5 p.m. So if you can, comprehensive Japanese, cool. Any ideas what they're doing with the expo site after it closes? Well, my understanding is that they're thinking of dismantling the ring, the ring, not the circle. So yeah, that seems to be the plan at the moment, which is very sad. I hope it stays. Please recommend a good hostel in Tokyo to stay and want to socialize. Um, I don't stay in hostels, so I can't recommend. It would be unfair for me to recommend something that I don't know too much about. That's one thing that you're gonna always get from Ninja Monkey from this channel, and that is that I'm very honest. If I don't have the answer to something, then I hope that somebody will be able to recommend. However, I know that there's great communities, loads of people who say nonsense. Hopefully, they'll be able to help you out. 15 million souvenir chopsticks. That would be crazy. Very crazy. What are the best options for last minute booking for festivals in the summer up north? That's a very good question, Nugget Hunter. I have a series of last 2 years ago when I did the Tohoku festivals. Some of the best experiences I've ever had in my life. The difficulty with those festivals is that they all seem to be consecutively, like in the same week. So you really need to plan very carefully. The number one tip is, I mean, you say last minute. Last minute is very difficult. The problem with those festivals, unfortunately, it's that they are in the evening, and the Shinkansen can sort of like stop at 8 p.m. or the last Shinkansen could be at 8 p.m. So you need to plan very carefully. You don't want to be stranded. When I went to the festival in Aomori, I ended up not staying in Aomori. I ended up staying in a city nearby, going to Aomori and getting the last Shinkansen back. That's the one thing that I did. And when I went to the one in Akita, the Akita festival, for that one I had to stay also on the last station of the local line. It's difficult. The only thing that you can look at this point is potentially um, going to the one in Morioka, which is one of my favorite ones. It's a little bit less popular, and maybe you can get a chance, and I hope you do. Just over a month. Nice. North of Japan. Can't wait. Where are you going, dude? Have you had a confirmation flight with Japan Airlines? What do you mean by confirmation flight? I've flown with Japan Airlines many times. Let's see. Hey, Tommy Tran, thank you so much. Double member. That is pretty cool, dude. Let's see. Reading the comments, by the way. When you book your trips to Japan, what do you use to make your bookings? Google, Klook, or other? I use booking.com quite a bit of the time. I occasionally use Klook. I do have a Klook affiliate link, by the way, which is great if you're looking at getting like regional passes, rail passes, or even getting trains. Let me just put it over there. So if you're interested, there is an affiliate link there with Klook. You can just pause the video. I'll leave that for a little bit of time. Would you recommend taking the Shinkansen or flying from Sapporo? I believe there is a Shinkansen from Hakodate. Thank you. I think I would recommend taking the Shinkansen one direction and flying back, or for example, flying to Sapporo, maybe exploring Hokkaido and then getting the Shinkansen back and stopping along the way. Tohoku is very beautiful. There's a lot to do, a lot to see in that region, and one of the best ways you can do that is flying to Sapporo and then getting the Shinkansen back via Hakodate, or getting the Shinkansen all the way up, slowly, making your way up to Sapporo, and then flying back. That's probably the best option, to be honest. Hey, Grant, thank you so much for the super chat. Let me just make sure that I have. Where are you? Arigatou gozaimasu. I'm going. Managed to book around the festivals: Sapporo, Hakodate, Aomori, Akita, Sendai, Yokohama. Dude, sounds like a fantastic trip. You're gonna see a lot of less tourists, like foreigner tourists, and you're gonna see a lot of local culture. You're gonna be in for a great trip, dude. Where were we? Google Flights for tracking prices. I also use Expedia for tracking prices of flights. Absolutely. Yep. Tokyo Liberty TV. This is one of the things I mentioned in my last video. Well, they're in discussions. It's looking like it probably will become mandatory for Japan soon at some point. Although it'll be very interesting to see how they even manage to like implement it. I've got a feeling this, I have no information about this. Is just me speaking out loud or thinking out loud, better said. I've got a feeling that it will be linked with the launch of the Jester. It makes a lot of sense for me. If they're going to be implementing a Jester in 2028, it sounds to me like it's a kind of thing that they could easily add to the Jester. That when you apply for the Jester, you also need to have travel insurance. Mandatory for visitors, indeed. Hey, if you're a Godzilla fan, you can show the Godzilla emoji, guys. If you're a member, show off the Godzilla emojis. Hakodate to Tokyo, you can get the E5 Tohoku Shinkansen, but it takes 3 to 4 hours to get to Hakodate from Sapporo. I'll fly. Yeah, like I said one way and then travel back, if stopping along the way in different places, I think. Hey, how can we become a patron? That's a great question, and one that I would be very happy if you did become a patron. You can. I don't even. How do you become a patron? There you go. It's down on the banner. It says join the Patreon. www.patreon.com/Ninja Monkey Guy. Or you can also go to my website, Ninja Saru. I put it ninjasaru.com, and the links are there. Thank you so much for considering that. It helps a lot. In fact, today I've just sent a lot of Patreon packages out. I was going to take the Shinkansen to Hakodate, but I had to take a domestic flight instead, and that flight was easy peasy and cheaper. Let's see. The Tokyo stay Shibuya I used last time had the laundry machine in room. It was really handy. Yeah, I've actually, that's one of my things that I was planning to do this weekend and I haven't, because I've literally spent most of the weekend on the beach. But one of the things that I like to do is I like to plan in like my laundry days. Laundry days become editing days. Hey, greetings from La Niña. You're my neighbor, Jose. ¿Cómo estás? And we should hang out. Went to Hakodate by Shinkansen on a tour. Nice, nice, nice. Let's see. Chuck says, just toss some laundry in here and there and do tourist stuff. Yes, absolutely. When you pack for your trip to Japan, do you pack like light JMC? I have what I think is the golden rule of packing for any trip. It doesn't have to be Japan. I think roughly, if you're going to Japan for a week, you can pack for 5 days. If you're going to Japan for 2 weeks, pack for 1 week. And if you're going to Japan for longer than 2 weeks, pack for 10 days. That's sort of my golden rule. That should keep you going, because the likelihood is that you will end up purchasing some bits here and there whilst you're in Japan. And that will keep things quite light. And yes, light is key. I do have a packing video, and I'm working on a new updated packing video coming your way soon. I'm traveling to Japan in September. Nice one there, Craig. I want to purchase a JR Green Car Pass. Do you have to activate pass on arrival at Tokyo Station when I get there? No. You can, well, okay. To get your, maybe some people have already answered this down there, I'm not very sure, but Craig, basically, you activate your pass the day you go to the station, and you tell them the day that you want your pass to be activated. So for example, you could have your pass, you get your pass, and you say, I want it activated in 2 days time, and they will give you a pass that basically starts working from that day. Always pack light. Absolutely, David. Godzilla! Godzilla! There you go. Ninja Monkey gets Discord is also a great way to do it. Thank you so much for sharing my packing video. Back in the clay, they are talking about even green card holders if they don't pay. Yeah, they are. They are indeed. After a month in hospital, after an Africa trip, Lucky had insurance. I don't understand why somebody would risk paying thousands if something goes wrong. Absolute grant, I know. Like I said, it's one of those things where you pay some money, but you hope that you never have to use it. Hey, Firam, how you doing? Hey, Ninja Monkey, do you plan to make any more content on immigrant communities in Japan? I'd love to, absolutely. Loved your coverage of the Puerto Rican immigrants in Gunma. Actually, they were Peruvian, I think. Peruvian. There were some people from Puerto Rico also. You're right, Brazilians. And yeah, I think that this trip, I have a few things planned. Just watch the space. Nomadic Gaijin is in the house. Wow! By the way, if you don't know, you can, there's a link somewhere with all my friends' channels, and Nomadic is one of them. Back in the Clay also has his own little YouTube channel that you should check out. Support one another, you know, ultimately. Japan on Facebook and all sorts of other social media. Fresh socks, undies, absolutely. Howdy, how are you doing? Hey Craig, thanks. Love the channel. Thank you so much. I'm glad that people actually like the channel. Oh boy, it's one of those things when you're a content creator, it's like Will people even will people even like my content? I just watched that video with a little Brazil community. It was awesome. I really enjoyed that day. I like just wandering around and discovering, other sides of Japan. And if you did like that one, Josh, I highly recommend that you check out my the dark side of the trains in Japan. I think it's a great video. And also one that at the moment I'm finding very difficult to watch, and that is like the Japanese smoking in Japan. There's a whole different culture weirdness when it comes to smoking in Japan. And my friend Drew appears in that video. He just passed away from lung cancer about a month ago, unfortunately. So yeah. Do they mean traditional travel insurance or just health coverage? I usually get the health plan for my trips, as I don't need it to insure the entire trip. Just so that you're covered for medical bills at the moment, it seems. There'll be more information coming up. I'm sure I will be covering the information in the future. Somebody wrote a comment on one of my videos saying, hey, like you keep on repeating the same information. Like I get that you need to whatever, but it would be better if you don't. I'm like, you don't get it. Information is always changing. I've been speaking about the tax-free from the very, very beginning, 2 years ago, when they started discussing the tax-free, all the way to the point where now they've made a decision on how the tax-free is gonna change and work. The same. I was one of the first people maybe to speak about Jester, and it wasn't even called Jester at the time. Probably a year and a half ago, I was talking about it. Every time there's an update, there's a little bit of change, more information, I put it out there. Plus, people forget that audiences are always changing. I could put a video out like last year about something, and I have a whole new audience that if I put a similar video out, then they probably haven't seen. Kamikaze, a question. Do I really need health insurance to enter Japan? At the moment, you don't. Keep an eye on the channel and on, do your own research, obviously. But at the moment, it's in discussion. It's not mandatory at the moment. Just joined. Thank you, dude, for joining. Do you recommend any day trips from Kanazawa besides Shirakawa-go and Fukui? Oof, that's difficult. I loved Fukui when I went to Kanazawa. And when I was in Kanazawa, I just pretty much stuck to Kanazawa. And I traveled to Fukui and Toyama. Should we visit Sapporo Brewery? Absolutely, dude. I don't know what the Heineken brewery is, but I think that the Sapporo beer museum or whatever brewery is quite something, because it has a really, if anything, go for the Genghis Khan, which is like yakiniku but of lamb, which is very like Sapporo sort of thing, very Hokkaido sort of thing, like a lamb yakiniku. It's very delicious. And there in the brewery in Sapporo, they have a really big hall where you can eat some very delicious Genghis Khan. I don't know how to say it, which one it was. I'm getting mixed up between the Pokemon, the food, and a ruler from history. Oh my god, finding a bar that's non-smoking is so difficult. We can't stand smoking areas since it's been smoke-free in California for decades. Yeah, so yeah, I made that video for that reason, because it's always very weird. Like, yeah. The hub is good non-smoking options, usually. I'm going to Tokyo to Hiroshima, to Kyoto to Osaka, back to Tokyo. Do you recommend the JR Pass? Probably not. It all depends really, Craig, on how long you're staying in each location. Use a JR Pass calculator online. Just search JR Pass calculator. put in your dates, put in your itinerary, and it will tell you. But most likely, probably not. 100%. I 100% agree with JJI. Yeah, Blue Sky mentioned wash and fold services a few times. I'm gonna have to look out for them. Sapporo Brewery is good, especially the sampler at the canteen at the end. And also one more thing, and that is that I feel that Sapporo is most definitely not as touristy. It's not gonna be as flocked with tourists as Tokyo and Kyoto. So even if there are some tourists, it won't be too bad. I don't think. Ooh. Have I used AI to make a trip itinerary for yourself? I've tried a few times and I've always found that I can do it better. Um, AI sometimes hallucinates. It invents locations that don't exist. Not that they don't exist, but it basically puts things in the wrong place sometimes. And I think that it can give you a good idea, general idea of what to do at a pinch, but ultimately you really do need to do your own, like research. Um, for example, AI might tell you to go to certain places, but those places might be closed or might be seasonal, and might not be open when you're traveling. Also, I finding it that AI is quite finds it hard to find efficient ways of travel. It might give you like general travel options, but might do it in a very inefficient way with a lot of backtracking. And I try to make sure that I don't backtrack if I can. I mean, by all means, get yourself an idea. I heard the Royal Chocolate Factory tour in Hokkaido was really cool. Seriously, that sounds epic. Hold on a minute. Hold on a second. Um, because I have here. Let's see if I find it. Right. So I have there a QR code there, Firum, and basically I'm traveling across all sorts of places in Japan in the next 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks now. In the next 2.5 weeks, I'll be going back to Japan, and I'm actually looking for some of your recommendations. And I would be so happy if you were to go to that QR code, fill in the form, click on Sapporo, and write that as one of the things that I should do. That way I could keep everything, things that I could do in the future or during this trip. Those restaurants were so good in the Sapporo Beer Frick. Right, this is what I'm saying. It's pretty good, Tommy, huh? I would like to bring gifts to Japan from the USA. What can I share? Being visually impaired traveler, the Japanese are extra kind. They make sure I get to where I am going. I think that Avigil, I think that you'll probably be fine with some postcards from home, and maybe writing a little pre-writing in those postcards like thank you, or thanks for helping me, or whatever. Those are really good to give out and easy, and they're not something that's of so much value that it's going to make people feel awkward. Now if you're going to be staying like with a host family or something, that's a whole different thing. Get the Kansai Hiroshima pass for your leg in the Kansai region. That's a good idea. There's lots of passes that you can actually get starting from Osaka or Kyoto. Let's see. Non-alcoholic Guinness? I had a non-alcoholic Super Bock yesterday. It was very good. I have bought my JR pass. We'll be traveling every day for a week. Nice. You see, if you're traveling every day, then absolutely, dude. If you're in Kanazawa for just 2 days, then I'd stay there and visit lots of spots within Kanazawa. I agree. When it comes to health insurance, it's very difficult for me to give specific recommendations because health insurance and travel insurance is based very much on the country that you reside in. So where I live, there's certain insurance companies that work in this region that probably will not work in yours, and vice versa. My experience with AI so far has been that it's better for organizing the ideas you give it rather than generating ideas for you. Also, yeah, Bojo. But the best tip of all is to subscribe to Ninja Monkey and like the live stream. I like to use Google Maps to make a pin map of all the stuff I want to see and then plan all the things near each other on their own days. Yeah, and you know what, Chuck? A really good tip that I always give people is for every location that you're going to go to, like for every day, make yourself a list of 5 things that you must see, that you're interested in seeing, and rank them in order of what you want to see, and try to base your itinerary around that on the day, because it basically means that if you only get to see two of the 5, at least you've seen the top 2 things that you were interested in doing. If you get to do the 5 things that you had written down, then you've done it, and you have the rest of the day to explore and do, other stuff. Josh Segovia. Hey there, I'm still a bit confused on the tax-free shopping. After you scan your passport at purchase, do you still need to stop somewhere in the airport after? At the moment, no. At the moment, Josh, at this very present moment in time, you literally get the value of your item deducted from from when you pay at the point of payment with your passport. It will be deducted. There are a few places that I've been to in Japan where they've told me to go to a tax-free area in the store, and they've given me the cash back. That can happen maybe in department stores. Um, at the moment, everything is handled within the country, not at airports. In the future, starting 2020 next year, 2026, November 2026, it's gonna be moved to airports at departure. More information to follow once everything is finalized. Okay. Is it correct that at the expo you have to finish in one country's exhibition before you can book the next one? I am not sure, Craig. I'm not. Haven't been covering the expo. It's not something that I've been super interested in doing. I know that there are other great channels that have been doing that and will do that much more justice than me. For example, I don't know. You keep forgetting about the form. Well, the form is there. That's the QR code there for the form. You click on it. It's a Google form. You click on the region. You click on the type of activity. Is it a temple? Is it food? Is it izakaya? Is it a sightseeing spot or whatever? And then you can just type in and give me recommendations. I have like nearly 30 recommendations already, which I'll be pinning to a map. When I'm in Sapporo, there is a very big beer festival, Odori Beer Festival. Have you been? I have not been to the specific beer festival, but I've been. That whole strip in the summer is full of beer gardens. I love it in Sapporo. Sapporo feels like it's always just one big beer festival. What do I think about the new smart glasses like Meta Ray-Ban translating in real life? I think it'll be awesome. I think it'll be awesome. You watched the Traveling Solo video? Thank you. What was a great idea? Thank you for the travel advice. I've been to Gibraltar, love the fish and chips, and especially the airport at the border checkpoint. Awesome. Cool. Who's been to Gibraltar here, I wonder? Only 30 likes so far? Are you kidding me? What? 32 likes? What? Over 50 people watched? Sad. Sad. Donkey and department stores or malls, they have tax-free counter. My Rolling Japan Maps, Japantrip map has... Oh, I've just... Let me just refresh. My chat just died. Why have you died? Where were we? My rolling Google Maps Japan trip map has red pins for been there, green pins for will go, yellow for would like to go, and grey for they're possibly closed now. My god, you are really well organized. Well done. Gazumi, Smart X seems to only have seat bookings on Shinkansen within 30 days, correct? Need a rear large luggage sheet for my folding e-bike. I don't know exactly how much, but usually Shinkansen tickets are 30 days usually. Anyway, so thanks for answering. In that case, I'm gonna do some more tax-free shopping. Yeah, dude, do it. Yeah, Japanese Ichiban is a meta Ray-Ban, dude. 100%. Hey, Frog Lady, how are you doing? Arigatou gozaimasu. How are you doing, man? I've by the way, I've just sent off a little package. Well, not today. I've sent them off, but they probably won't go out till tomorrow. Which so basically, keep an eye on your thing. You know, patrons. I've been to Gibraltar, but not the border checkpoint. Just came and left by plane. He came to visit me, and I was in Japan. It's such a clay thing. But I think you had a great trip anyway. It's quite a unique place. Oh yeah, can you ship the e-bike to the next destination? That's a good idea. Like with luggage forwarding, right? My YouTube window crashed also, which is why I went a little bit like strange for a minute. Ah, pre-Brexit, I see. How does Gibraltar fish and chips compare to the UK fish and chips? Similar, maybe even better. I don't know. Kanpai! Actually, guys, it's time for Tokyo Banana. I had one on the beach today. So I only have 2 more left after this, I believe. I think it's 2 more left. And the way it works is that every Tokyo Banana represents a week left before my next Japan trip. And I have this one, and I have 2 more Sundays, 2 more Tokyo Bananas, I believe, in the freezer. There might be one like underneath a bag of peas or something that I haven't seen. But that means I have 2 more Sunday live streams, and then I'm gonna be in Japan, and I'm gonna be streaming from Japan, everyone. Tokyo Banana time. Sorry, I'm eating. I've been to Gibraltar for a stopover. Spend a few hours there. I've only been to Europa Point Lighthouse and Pillars of Hercules. Really cool. I don't live too far from the places that you've mentioned. Yeah, keep an eye. I mean, you're in Australia. You're literally like, if I look down, I'm looking at you. Opposite side of the world. Pretty cool. Hello there, I watched your video and it's very helpful. Thank you, Dante. I have a plan to go to Tokyo on August the 29th to September the 5th. Is there anything that I need to worry about at that period? Perhaps Dante, you fell in the sort of typhoon season. Now, typhoons are not as scary as people make them out to be because Japan is so well prepared. Keep an eye on the weather and plan accordingly. I'll give you an example. I was in Tokyo and there was a typhoon coming to Tokyo. And when a typhoon hits, train travel can stop. Shinkansens can be cancelled, for example. So I was supposed to be traveling to Kyoto, and there was a chance that the typhoon was going to disrupt my Shinkansen trip the following day. So I actually decided to leave to Kyoto the day before. And when I got to Kyoto, the typhoon didn't even touch Kyoto. Kyoto's no rain, nothing, but it hit Tokyo. So just keep an eye on the weather a little bit more. And the heat. When are you going to Japan on the next trip, Nathan? I'll be there in 2.5 weeks' time. So I believe it's 2.5 weeks roughly. So I start making my way that way on the 10th of July. Yeah, so 2.5 weeks basically. Is when I start making my way there. Drink a lot of water, indeed. Hey there, is it expensive too? If you do a road trip in Japan, is there a site that helps calculate it? That's a really good question. And I think it's the first time anybody's ever asked me that question. I think it depends. I think that car rental can be quite expensive, but at the same time, if you are sharing the cost with a group of people, then it's the cost comes way down. I can't really answer that question. I'm going to be totally honest with you, but it's one that's got my brain ticking. Something that I want to potentially explore and research a little bit for the future. Then again, Japan says that it's inexpensive. I found it expensive. I rented a car for 4 days. It cost me about $300 or over $350 or something, $300 maybe for 4 days rental, which I think is expensive. I could have probably got the train for cheaper and faster. Do you know why is the Pillars of Hercules in Gibraltar and not Greece? Because apparently Gibraltar is one of the Pillars of Hercules, and the other side of the Mediterranean, or the Straits of Gibraltar, is the other Pillars of Hercules. I don't know. How do you get so much time from work to go to Japan? I wish I could do that. Secret. It's a secret. Nathan and anyone going to Japan in the heat of summer is brave. I think it also depends on where you come from. I mean, I've had a week. This week has been over 30 degrees pretty much every single day here where I live. The difference is that I've been, I go for swims. I go to the ocean, have a little bit of swim. But basically, even though it's very hot and humid in Japan, I think that the difference for me might be a little bit less than somebody who's coming from the UK, even though they've had a heat wave, How many days you suggest staying in Sapporo, Hakodate? I think Hakodate, you're probably good with one night, spending 2 days, one night, Hakodate. And when it comes to Sapporo, if you're going to be doing a day trip to Otaru, you're going to count that as a full day trip. Potentially staying in Sapporo as a base, but going to Odate for the day. So that would be one day, and you probably need 2 or 3 days for Sapporo, so total of 4 days to make it safe. More fun. Well, if you're into winter sports, then obviously winter. I think spring is incredibly beautiful. Um, Summer is bad, but I think actually summer is the most fun of all. Summer, even though it's hot and humid, summer is the most fun time, I would say, to go to Japan. There's lots of festivals, lots of fireworks. There's a different ambience in the air. Um, yeah. Hey, you made it to a stream at the end of the stream, but you made it. How are you doing? I am doing 11 days car rental during my upcoming October. Wow, we'll see the dollars total. Go tell me. Monkey, how long did it take you to learn Japanese language? I don't speak Japanese very well at all. Like, I pretend to speak Japanese. I'm honest, really. I pretend that I can speak Japanese. I get by with the things that I need to know, but I wouldn't say that I can have like a full-on conversation with a lot of people. Every time I go to Japan, I learn something more. I try to speak more Japanese. And this trip that I'm going on, it's going to be quite rural. A lot of the places are going to be very rural, so it means that I'm going to be forced to really use the Japanese that I know. I'm doing good. You made it. But you made it, dude. You made it. Did 8 days car hire in Shima Mie, very cost effective. But that was only regional driving. Okay. Well, that is true. JJI. The more I drink, the better I speak, or I believe that I can speak Japanese. I don't know. Josh Segovia. It's true. It's true. It's totally true. Wow. Would like to try a road trip by camper van. That would be awesome, I think. We have my friend Nomadic Gaijin. He's always driving around. It's so much fun to watch his stuff. All right. Futatsu Haiboru onegaishimasu. Well done. Most important thing. Namabiru onegaishimasu. Namabiru. Everyone's language skills increase. Everyone also thinks they look better. Submerse yourself, absolutely. Do I go alone all the time? Most of the time. I think 95% of my trips I'm solo traveling. I know people in Japan, so like I do hang out with people. But you know, for this trip, I'm gonna be spending probably out of the 6 weeks I'm gonna be in Japan for 6 weeks. I'll probably spend a total of 4 weeks on my own out of those 6 weeks. Right, guys, I am gonna start closing things off here. We have another stream hopefully on Wednesday in Happy Gaijin. Sunday we'll be streaming again here on Ninja Monkey. Check out my latest video, latest content, and as always, if you do have any questions, we have a great community on the Discord where you can ask questions. The conversation can continue. Some of you asked about Patreon, and you can check out my Patreon for even more like you know, support that way. But it's been fun. It's been great. It's always awesome hanging out and getting to know you guys. We have a great community here. I'm very thankful for. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm not on my own. I'm going to be with streaming in Japan, obviously. Frog Lady, thank you so much for coming and saying hello. No problem, Dave. On that note, arigatou gozaimasu. Oyasubi nasai. Good night, everyone. Stay positive and be happy, Gaijin. Always.